Just like your car, your late model Harley EFI has a check engine light somewhere in the instrument panel to let you know when there's a problem with the EFI system or one of the other computers that might be on your bike. Does that mean when that light comes on that you're in for an expensive trip to the dealer? Not necessarily. We're going to show you how to access those codes on this edition of SouthernBikerTV How To. Okay, accessing the codes is a very simple process. I'm going to show you how to do it on this 09 FLH. Other models are very similar. This is going to help us retrieve what these trouble codes are. But what does that mean to you? What is a trouble code? The computers on your bike do a variety of self-tests. They monitor all the systems on the bike just like they do on your car. And when it detects something that's not quite right, it sets a code, what's called a diagnostic trouble code. Several examples might come to mind, like O2 sensor not functioning or something along those. But what I want you to understand is just because when you look it up on Google and you see that's what the name or what the description is, doesn't necessarily mean that's the part that went wrong. So don't just go throwing parts at the bike, if you see something like that. Before we get too deep into that though, let's get to the codes first and see how to do that. Okay, here's the two parts that I want to focus on. We're going to use here the odometer window. The digital readout here is where we're going to access the information, and we're going to use the reset button here to control how we scroll through that information. So how we start, first we're going to make sure the ignition switch, the ignition run switch is in the on position. We're going to make sure the key is off. Hold the reset button while I turn the key on, and then just wait a moment. And you'll see this diag appears in the screen. Now we're going to press the button one more time. And we have several letters here. We have P, S, SP, T, and B. What do they stand for? Well, P, that's the powertrain, the control module. That's the engine control unit that you saw us install the fuel pack on video two ago. S is the security, the turn signal module. SP is the speedometer module. T is the tach. B, if it's equipped, is the ABS system. We're going to stick with powertrain codes right now. So the P is flashing. It means I can access that module. Push the button one more time real quickly. Excuse me. Get that P flashing, and then we're going to hold it on that P. And that comes up with the codes. P1356. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. If there's any more codes, we can scroll through them, but that tells us we're at the end. All right. One more click, and now it's going to provide us with the part number for the ECU. We can compare that to any revisions that might have been made. There may be some updates available for the computer to correct what we found. And then once we're done there, we go back to where we started. Now if I want to clear the codes, process is very similar. We're going to go into that module, piece flashing, that's the one I want. Hold the button down. Code's there. Now that I have the code, I'm going to hold the button down again, hold it. The word clear comes up, and I'm all done. Go back, turn the key off, and check it again, just to make sure it cleared. There's the P, hold it. No codes found. So we're all good to go. That's how you access the trouble codes. Now what about going in and repairing that trouble code? Well, you have to look it up first, the P1356. If you Google it, you'll find a lot of references to what that code is and what the possible causes are. All I as a technician want to know is what is the code? And in this case, it's for no combustion in the rear cylinder. A few things that can cause that. If you'll recall, if you've been following the last few how-tos, we've had some issues with, first of all, with the bike is stock, it's already running lean, and then by adding the guttered exhaust that was on the bike, that's going to make it run even more lean. Even when they have a hiccup on the starting process, any of those that could cause that to be caught by the sensor and recorded as a problem. We've made some adjustments to the bike. I'm going to clear that code, and I'm going to ride it for a while, and I'm going to see if it comes back again. Now the check engine light wasn't on. The code was stored, but it wasn't on. What does that mean? Well, it means that the computer saw the problem at least once, but it's not happening all the time. It's not a recurring issue, so it wasn't enough of a bother to turn the light on and tell you about it. If we had kept riding and the problem had gone away and not cured, the code would have disappeared all by itself. But there you have it. There's how to access your trouble codes. You can check them for any module on the bike you want. And if you're mechanically inclined, do a little Google search. Take out your service information, get a good service shop manual, and tackle it yourself. Might save you some money rather than going down to the dealer. Did you enjoy the video you just watched? Did you find it helpful? We sure hope so. If you did, make sure you give us a thumbs up and you add your comments to that section right below the player there. And don't forget to share our videos with your Harley riding friends. Once you got all that taken care of, if you want to make sure that you're the first to know about any new videos that we put up online, hit that subscribe button for us. Thanks for watching.